Hello, this is Professor Werwath. I recently read an article from Business Insider that talks specifically about new EV owners and some of the problems they've had charging their vehicles. In particular, on long distance trips, more than say 100 miles, being able to do, in essence, high-speed charging on their vehicles in a reliable, consistent way. One of the tools that I use that I believe has been very helpful for me is PlugShare. PlugShare is the actual program you're seeing in front of you now. I launched it. This article talks specifically about the corridor between Boston and New York City. There's a filter here that you can use, and that filter allowed me to basically choose only the CCS chargers. So these are the high-speed DC fast chargers that are not Tesla and not Japanese. These are the American European standard CCS charger. So this is what a Ford might have. This is what General Motors Chevy Bolt has. And this is what most of the new German European vehicles also requires. As you can see, there are many, many charging stations. And the inference is, oh, you should have no problem at all getting from point A to point B. In this case, New York City to Boston. Here's the problem, right? If your car has a stated range of 250 miles, frankly, I would only be comfortable charging up every 100, maybe to 150 miles tops. I would not go much further, only because you're not sure if that next charger is going to be available. And secondly, you're not sure how your car might react to that charger and whether or not your stated range is actually correct, because it changes as you change your speed, as temperatures change, etc. Furthermore, as you start to do your investigations, you should always do your homework ahead of time, right? Review all your charging sites. I have a preference for Electrify America. Why? Brand new equipment, generally well-maintained, generally not very populated, and they have multiple stations per location, right? And lastly, they're usually in a location that has a Walmart or a Sam's warehouse type of scenario, so that you can at least get a drink, you can go to the bathroom, you can grab a cup of coffee or a hot dog. So these are all things that you might want to consider as you're planning out your stops. Minimum half an hour, in my mind, to charge your car. I drive a Chevy Bolt. You're not going to get much charge in less than 30 minutes. And in most cases, at least with my car, it'll be closer to an hour before your charging session is done. I've opened up the Walmart Supercenter here. This one happens to be located in Manchester, Connecticut. Why did I pick this one? Well, it's a relatively new station. You can tell from the photograph. You can get all your directions here in terms of how to get to this location. The payment fees, 31 cents per kilowatt hour, seems to be about average. I've seen as high as 43. I've seen it in the 20s. 43 is what they actually charge if you have no membership. So if you're going to be driving quite a bit, a long distance, I would definitely consider a membership. I have no stake in PlugShare. I have no stake in Electrify America. I'm not a stockholder of either one. I'm not an investor of either one. All I can tell you is my experience, right? And Electrify America is the newest, most modern, probably some of the most advanced equipment outside of a Tesla supercharger, okay? Now, it'll show you what types of plugs they have available. CCS, you can see they have 6 stations, 150 to 350 kilowatts. Now, that's great as a charging rate. The truth is you're limited not by their charging station, but rather by your car's equipment and your charging curve. If you're below 20% or 50% in general, your battery will be easily charged at pretty much a high rate. Once you get past, say, 50 or 60% state of charge, you're going to get a tapering effect, and your own vehicle will slow down the charging rate by half or more to the point where it's a trickle charge for the last 10 or 20% of the battery. My recommendation, don't charge above 80%. You'll be wasting your time. You're basically sitting there getting charged up at such a slow rate. You're better off hitting the road, yes, draining the battery, taking it down to about 20, maybe 25% state of charge, charging it up again to 80, go from 20 to 80, 20 to 80. That would be my recommendation to you. My other recommendation is look at the other check-ins, right? You see a Hyundai Kona Electric, you see a Kia Niro, you see a Volkswagen ID4. You also see this, the rate of charging here. The ID4 was able to achieve 150 kilowatts, and Carlos here from Ford Mustang, he got 127. Why is this important? This shows recent history. Yes, the equipment is running as of July 26th. That's 2 days ago in my book. It also shows what kind of equipment it's compatible with. It also shows people's comments and feedback as to that charging station. So there's 125 check-ins. You can look at the history here before you take off on your trip and before you decide to use Walmart in Manchester, Connecticut. This is the kind of homework you need to do. It's unfortunate. I know you don't have to do it if you drive a gas car. At the other hand, the gas car, at least in my neck of the woods, is charging $3.50 a gallon, which gets me about 20, 30 miles. You can get that same 20, 30 miles from 5 kilowatts here. 5 kilowatts here is probably on the order of a buck or two. So all I'm saying is, yes, there's no free lunch. You're getting a much cheaper cost of transportation. Also, this is still in its infancy. We can debate whether it's ready for prime time or not, but what I'm saying is, to be realistic, if you're going to plan your trip, this is how you need to plan, right? So with that, I will certainly stop at this point. I'll be glad to answer questions down below in the comment section. Otherwise, thank you for your time.